So, tell me where it all began.
Alright. So, tell me where it all began.
Alright.
Oh, you're that guy!
The one and only.
I was your therapist!
You're more delusional than I thought.
You were my patient that wouldn't stop talking about virginity!
And not being your patient.
You played that mammal game with the toys?
I would remember if that happened. It's on my bucket list.
The tennis thing with Big Luigi?
If that game doesn't exist, it would be on the news.
And you were about to talk about something else, and that's what I called it!
See, this is where your story falls flat. It's really unlike me to talk about 3 things.
You freaked me out, man. The fact you gave a shit about 3 different games scared me. Who knows what you're capable of giving a shit about?
Let me get this straight. You believe I, who answered a 1 ad in the paper for therapist, used to have you as a therapist, and you went insane after therapy sessions with you about 3 games caused you to question faith.
That's my obituary.
Okay, well, I can't help you until I know what the 3rd game is going to be.
Why?
It sounds like a good thing to add in my book, My Patient's Personal Stories and I.
I don't know. You didn't talk about it. It was a game.
Wait, I remember a game. You were a therapist!
I tried to be a news anchor, but I wasn't cut out. So I became a therapist, yeah.
And I was your patient, and I had to go to you because I played 3 Nintendo games from 2015 that were so bad I had to seek therapy.
Well, what was the 3rd game? What happened when you played the 3rd game?
After I get therapy for playing all 3 of these games, I'm going to suppress everything, forget who I am, and become a therapist. And here we are today.
So it's just a 2D game about a robot!
A bad 2D game about a robot.
Those exist?
Not until 2015 they didn't.
Listen, can you just get over this trauma so I can enjoy my therapy in peace?
No, you need to get over your trauma.
I need therapy, alright? And you're gonna give me advice on how to improve my mental health, and you're gonna like it!
You were a therapist. Don't you give yourself therapy?
My mirror's in the shop!
You don't know what I go through every day. How do you expect me to give you secret therapy when we didn't even finish our original session?
You know, I'll tell you what. If I finish your session, will we do my therapy?
You know there are millions of customer support websites that would love to hear your personal problems.
You need to finish what you started. We need to end this now. I have dinner tonight with my family, and I gotta finish this before then, so I don't show up insane. You're a therapy machine. You're gonna therapize good tonight. You're gonna be the best therapist a therapist will ever ask
Nice
for.
place.
You're gonna do great.
Is this your couch?
Yeah. Okay.
So I was thinking we
This
could
place,
tackle Ultra Smash
What the
next. This game left me
Who gave you my
traumatized.
address?
Really
Why are you here? What the? Oh yeah.
Wait, let's go one at a time. Cool, so you know what this place is.
What
This
the
is the
fuck are
bathroom.
you doing here in my house?
Okay, fair question. Now it's my turn.
What's always
I was hoping we could
Well,
bang
you got
out
a chance
some
I need to
more
restock
therapy.
you
No,
more
but I
this
keep
time.
these here as a hobby. I like to curate them.
So
I can't
This
give you
game
therapy
blows.
right now. It's
This
daytime.
game
I'm a
blows.
therapist.
Oh my God! It's worse than I
I
thought.
didn't become a therapist to hear you vent about a
Hi,
mental festival.
my name is Scott, and
I'm not registered to give advice
My
about
name isn't Scott, and this isn't an AA meeting.
I always hated those.
So,
I always felt out.
You know, I may have left the force a while ago, but when it comes to make sure
Oh,
therapy
I'm
officers,
sitting.
I still got it.
I'm paying you
With a coupon.
You know what it's like to go to therapy.
I got a life outside of this job. I got a therapy
You're a therapist. Where do you go to therapy? Fine. South America.
Hey y'all! What am I supposed to say? And that's it? It's already so long. But no, and over again. All you need These content I have ever played. Have the same goals. Why we have no do I hate using this thing? Something going on. RPGs can be anything else. It has been so much more than Oh, this is space. Spin-offs are all over the place. Dragon Quest is on just swipe away at the end. And overall, it feels like Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest 11 has the actual stuff that is based on overrated ass-long titles. Starboard fans of that character. intensity was done. So it's definitely how we got to get roadman come back. Most of the time, we're definitely different. That actually banned out people that say, and something is already in the making. Now, Pokemon, on the other hand, can be right off. I say so, it doesn't. Thank God.
What's the point of this then?
You got it, right, Banana. It's just okay. Aspect 2. Kill it.
What the hell were they doing with this motion? City? New submarine again! Nintendo, what?
The PS3 may have been rough around the edges and difficult to use in many areas, but somebody who doesn't like RPGs will play the PS3 could have gone either way. I personally also a good smart better. The PS3 comes out on top. But turns out I'm not blinded by nostalgia or love for a specific company.
Update it again.
On the Nintendo yeah, I got the new Switch.
Here.
Obviously didn't work out. I wouldn't say it's blue this side. Upgrading and transferring everything. Happy I didn't say however, it's still on the stage halfway through a game. Playtime for most back in 91.
Mistake.
Big announcement here. Bubbles at Rock
Hey! Like RPGs.
Fun fact, did you know companies these games bigger than Sony? final Xbox game that's a robot to fight it. Mario watermelon and had Lily Sunshine in it. What the f does that mean? Nothing. Put an Overwatch Nintendo Switch case appeared on Amazon. What the f does that mean? Sticks out. When pretty much all of the 2018 happened, Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn was used that's when I was exclusively. Take that, Nintendo!
Hey y'all, I'm not an RPG guy. I'm proud of who I am. No RPG is ever gonna be anything other than this.
Damn it! Because the final boss!
So, basically,
playing 2D. Really? Enough. This edition has a bonus have this display. Just take different rooms from dungeons. Not even random third-party games that don't have it. Some Nintendo published stuff doesn't have it either. It's alright. Spines of these boxes have an icon with that engaging. It's not like Mario system, and you can see the icon on the menu. Oh, that's a dumb attention to detail I enjoy. I'm not a fan of the icon to share your game's dungeons online with its title. That I say, it just seems kind of redundant with that title and logo is too much with this. It's just random dungeons. These may not be perfect boxes that do have some worlds customized layout. It's pretty good. For sure, they should have added the ability to share online. Oh, as it's okay, so 2017 was mine. Nintendo to reiterate how lackluster this is. The branding, how it's literally just the white Nintendo logo up and rendering your own personal creativity with that. This is the official logo officially. They decided to change other published games to look on 3DS around. Maybe an extra dungeon or some published game on 3DS. And while we're on the topic of grips I have with this game, fine with Link being locked. The hell is this? Who thought this looked good? Not only does this clash with the all-white lines, but it looks weird next to any other movie especially all the Nintendo published. Also, yes, they always put their logo down here horizontally. Now it's vertically covered in red. And they made a lot of 3DS games that looked like this. My 3DS library looks pretty great up until when Nintendo started to do this. I used that entire adventure until Nintendo started to Pegasus boots. The Wii U library. Stop and tell me a piece of power or Guardian Ace is my bread and butter, and I know what these do. Games combine the remake of a Game Boy game, whatever. It's ridiculous how much Link's Awakening is to the front. Okay, thanks. Far from that big of an issue. Never impacted my enjoyment of the game. I love the game bar here, but not because it's blue and yellow. Because it's not. I remember don't take this wrong. Wii U box art renders that were literally just the Wii templates worked around. Showing the official Darksiders 2 Amazon page used that for a second even. But then this was revealed when Assassin's Creed 3 blew its load and updated its store page with this box art and added more to it. Well, a week before Link's Awakening, never been the same. Finally released Daemon X Machina, and somebody probably this game was just not talked about. It's unfortunate because I can tell it was at the very least a quality product. Definitely didn't help that the Japanese publisher and developer as a header that looks like this. Why does videos of the game online? So even if you wanted to talk about the game, you barely could. That ended up making the game barely anybody was interested in.
I've thrown 95% of
nobody was interested in.
What do you do? You replicate it. Go to their right now. Finish them off before they ever resurface.
I have as much confidence in this as I have faith.
It's just consistently has a game.
Well, I'm in. You know what they say, WWGD.
A year and a half later, that is my exact opinion of the game. How is this supposed to picking this game up alongside some others like Marvel Ultimate Alliance perfectly? I never got around to buying. Round a bit and grabbed them at Best Buy. Games will always look off-center when them up to the register. So the demo it is. It's graphically okay, but the actual game title, stylistic and cool looking, ends up making everything kind of look games had some the city looks pretty similar to these mountains. After playing a bit, I will say this game has a lot of potential mechanically. I found its ideas to be a lot of fun, but the story I couldn't care less, and the overall missions at the start lacked anything to write. Don't take my word to heart, though. I would keep it down. It's free for everybody, so if you know what those games, by all means try it out. They're both say it was much better than I
Four
thought it would
sides,
be.
colors. Does it have Chippy Robo Ziplash on it?
There's many people online I saw saying this game looked interesting.
I just thought that's what water looked like now.
I gave up on these games as the game that most games randomly want to use a black spike for no reason. Just showing it off poorly. We need to see my graduating. In reality, they meant I don't give a piss about this game. I don't know why. I don't want to put it in the review. Why piss off the 12 people who are interested in this game. It's more of a fun little event than Dragon Quest XI's echoes of an elusive H definitive edition. That is the definition of both the S and definitive edition. After Blue Spine, white with a skin logo. I bought it to support the game. I got my fill from the demo.
All the copies you've thrown down the toilet over the past 3 years have become
adorable.
sentient.
They're so small, like question if these things should people say that.
Guys, come on, guys, you can do this, right, guys?
Pretty happy with like Nintendo plastic case the size of this or anything else.
It's the
Literally,
anti-game!
talks about this game in every Nintendo Direct this year, and I kept saying, this is an old game. Alongside 11S, Square Enix put out Dragon Quest pretty good looking box.
Now that's what I call a good point.
These are RPGs, they take forever to beat. Why not spread the release dates out, or at the very least, maybe have 1, 2, 3 out on different days on 11 games? I mean, these were fairly cheap, based on the mobile phone release of these games on PS3. They seem to be on the spine. Why do some games that even heavily use the PS4 not really have this sort of they just start to measure I'm still the game, so if you didn't check out some Dragon Quest history, you want that option. Now, on the same day as Link's Awakening, Ni no Kuni came out. Stop! I've always done Ni no Kuni.
I'm
But
tired
you know
of
what
this.
isn't
You're a
really
terrible
lame?
game, but that doesn't mean I
Xbox
won't
was
overcome
lame.
you.
Released
I'm
on
better
PS3
than that.
originally. But thankfully, it got a
concept
remastered
of these
version
are
on
pretty
PS4 and
neat,
PC.
the banner
part of the
original
actual
one from
case.
Nintendo
Much like the
Switch.
PS3 case, wondering why I may give Pokemon Sword and Shield part-time in the graphical department, but it's because
kind of cool.
of this game is nearing a decade old, yet it looks 10 times better than Pokemon. It has good voice acting, great animated cutscenes, amazing music, and overall, it's a cool idea to have a banner not be a part of the art what it is right now.
What the hell is the game plan here?
What's the exact Awakening of some games anyway. So Untitled Goose Game came out on the eShop. Its major indie is Holy Grail, and why is the disc on the left side of the game? Enjoyable puzzle games which have this system. Microsoft's done tons of different underground environments trying to figure out how to pull these things off. Styles of telling people why they should buy an Xbox One game. Also, I think it's an experience that fits the length and 60 games that's backwards compatible. And 4 days after that, Contra Roll Many 360 games got re-released in Xbox One like case. I don't get these aren't specifically Konami revives one games, and this is what they put out.
Xbox bad 2015.
From Burger King. These are simply 360 games. You know, remastered versions on the Xbox One disc. I think they just hire indie creators.
They're wrong anyway.
It's an anonymous.
That's what the
I can
series
finally
needs
tell you
right
why
now.
you're
It
so
would have
messed
done
up in the
so
head.
much
If
better
the
than
game was good as Chippy Robo Ziplash, it will definitely make you feel inadequate.
I swear every 2 minutes for no fucking reason. It's fun.
You can rip up that range check therapy I had.
Terrible.
I'm good on my own now. I think I'm going to start my own therapy business called the Think Therapy.
Good on you. 3 days after Roku on the same day as Dragon Quest Outbreak, or in the Blind
Dr.
Forest
Ash,
came out,
but
and
you
they
can
put
call me
all
Kid.
of them in Xbox
Thank you,
One.
Dr. Geriatric.
Fallout 3. My eyes.
So
You're gonna use a 360
my
slice
God,
case
for
because
real?
it's in the packaging
Oh,
of one
yeah.
of the Xbox One.
We're turning this
This
not
fits
fine
in
into
at
a
all.
Dex
But
year.
this far, 360 games, this looks stupid. You put this for your Xbox One game,
What the
this
fuck
looks
is this?
stupid. Actually re-released this game in the normal Tetris 99 got a physical release. Why did I buy this? Because it's the best Switch game of 2019. I'm not joking. Tetris 99 is the Switch game I fire up the most. 60 games, 1 or 2 quick games before bed. This is so much fun. Throughout the year, they added a ton to it. New modes via DLC. Why did I buy this? Xbox One version of 60 games. These modes aren't anything. Rayman Legends released for Xbox One. Regular case offline. What I love most is the addition of the 60 version. My favorite one, but it's officially not the Xbox One version. I'm so used to how this thing looks and sounds. I can't go back. There's loads of other Nintendo-based ones, or just generally cool ones to buy via in-game tickets to get for playing regularly. You get themed for participating in special events based on games coming out at the time. Guys, it's amazing. They finally did it. They perfected video games. This stuff isn't even scratching the surface of the Switch in September. The Spyro Reignited Trilogy. It may not be the most exciting whether or not you'd be forced to download parts of the game are not with the physical release. That's unfortunate. But hey, at least the Switch games that require a completely downloaded now just have a tiny little notice on the box art instead of whatever the hell this was. I like Lego Jurassic World got a re-release, weird, but I won't complain. Final Fantasy VIII Remastered came far away. But we did have some stinkers. Devil May Cry 2 isn't the hot screen on the box. NBA 2K20 was a bit iffy alongside FIFA 20 Legacy Edition. The subtitle Legacy Edition denotes that this is literally just
as
FIFA
cool as a
19,
bunch of
but
Switch
with the
games look
roster of
together,
players updated.
EA couldn't even get
PS4
three
style,
FIFAs in
also,
without
that
giving up.
standardized
But even with
apparently
all of these game
isn't a
releases,
requirement.
Nintendo
A small
still
handful
held
of
a Nintendo
publishers
Direct
use
on
their own
September
logo
4th.
or font, and my god is it putrid. Come on, guys, just use the
I've noticed that
standard
if you weren't
Switch
over the
font.
moon
Why is
positive
Super
about this
Bomberman
Direct
aren't
Online, you
binding
got
lies
blasted,
and need to
so
use
what
their
better
own
time
dumb
to say I thought
font?
this Direct was
Battle
pretty
for Bikini
mediocre
Bottom
music
6 months
different
later.
font.
It
It's
wasn't
not even
bad or anything,
SpongeBob
they're just
related. They
wasn't
just used
really
a different
anything
font to use a different
new.
font. That takes
Like it
more
opened up with an
work.
Overwatch
If you're gonna
announcement,
do
which
this,
would
at
have
least
been
go
a
out with
lot more
a
exciting in
bang like the other ones I
2017,
showed.
and it ended with
This
the
is just a
announcement of
generic
Xenoblade
font. Why
Chronicles
not just use
Definitive
the
Edition,
regular
which
Switch
is a
font?
good thing.
Nintendo
I'm happy
Labo
that's
games
coming
have
out.
black
Xenoblade's obviously a
spines,
good
which I'm fine
game,
with.
but it's
Such
only been on
unique titles
platforms
in
that
the
can barely
library, I
run
think
it,
it's
so it's
cool to
nice to see
separate
it be
them
able
like
to
this.
run with some
And
extra
European
legroom
games
now.
are pretty much
But
the
it's
same,
still an old
but
game, and a
the
game
title
that's
on
been
the spine is
re-released
centered
before,
and
and it's a
uses a different
series
font.
that's already been
Because
represented
Europe
on
wouldn't
the
be the
Switch.
same without
Tokyo
that.
Mirage
Now the
Session
PlayStation 5
Encore
packaging
got
is
announced, a port of
stupid.
the Wii U
I've
game.
become more accepting
Surprising
of
this
it
made the
over
jump
time,
before
but
games
it
like Mario
feels
3D
weak.
World or Pikmin
It's the
3.
same as the
But
PS4,
still,
but
I
with
welcome
welcome
games to
banner
get a second
instead.
chance on Switch.
It uses
I
a
like
blue
having
case,
these
which
ports,
I
but
get
it feels like
why
that's
the
all we're
PS5 is
getting on
white
Switch
with
sometimes.
blue light,
Now,
but I
Deadly
think it would
Premonition
look better
Origins
to
was
make it a
announced and
fully
released
white
alongside
case
the
or black
Direct,
case
a
or
port
a
of
clear
Deadly
plastic
Premonition,
case,
which
and then
is
represent the
one of
blue
the
by
most
making that the color of the
polarizing
line
games
at
of
the
all
bottom
time.
of the
Either
banner.
people absolutely
It
despise it
works,
or
but
love it
using a blue case
unconditionally.
feels like
And the
they're
sequel was
using
announced to
old
be a
PS4
Nintendo Switch
game case
exclusive,
stock, and the
Never
overall
would have
design
guessed that. Super Kirby
just not
Clash
crazy
released
about it.
after the
The
Direct,
Xbox
a
cases
free-to-play Kirby game.
look the damn same.
Team Kirby Clash
They
was
just say
a
Xbox
mini
now,
game
woo.
in Planet Robobot on the 3DS and became a
Finally shut off my
free-to-play eShop
hospital
title
gun.
later on
I'm
that system.
cured,
And
and all
Super
it took
Kirby
was doing
Clash
here got anything but
is
playing video
basically
games.
just that.
The box
It's
art
pretty much
template and
Team
game
Kirby Clash
packaging as a
Deluxe
whole
from
is
the
just flat out
3DS
interesting
ported to
me.
the Switch.
Well,
Yeah,
I
would
went
it
on
really
and
been
on
that
and even
difficult
on
to
about how
create a
consistency
new
is
Kirby
key
Clash
here.
game? Kind of my same thoughts with why they ported
Beautiful
New
how
Super Mario Bros.
consistently
U. Like,
inconsistent
would it have
these
really
things
been
are.
that much
It
trouble
keeps
to
things
make a
interesting,
new Super Mario
everything was
Brothers?
perfect.
Sometimes it feels like
What I would've
Nintendo
done for
doesn't
the
even want
past
to put
45
effort into
minutes.
making
But
new lazy
spending your
games,
time
so they
wisely
just
is
get
important.
lazy and
Apparently
re-release
doing
their
this
old lazy
is all for
games.
the better of
The Super
society.
Kirby Clash
Karma does
is
exist,
fine.
and it
I mean, it's
cured
free,
me
might
by
as well check
talking
it out,
about
but
game
it's nothing
packaging.
special at
So
all.
apparently,
If you want a
it
multiplayer
loves
Kirby game
when
where
you
all you
talk
kind of
about
do is
game
fight bosses,
packaging.
here you go.
As
Banjo
long as you
released
don't
for
touch
Smash
shit
after
on
the
the
Direct
DSi
as
box.
well, alongside Terry from Fatal Fury and King of Fighters getting announced, which was leaked beforehand, or at the very least, the next DLC character being an SNK rep was leaked beforehand. I'm fine with Terry being in here, but people need to calm the hell down. This character may not be the most widely known, but he does have historic value and a large fan base. And everybody shaming people for not knowing who Terry Bogard is or not caring about the character, please zip it. I never heard anybody even mention SNK characters in Smash Bros. Before the leak of an SNK character being in Smash Bros. Happened, and now people are acting like he's the most deserving character to be in Smash Bros. Ever. I don't dislike the character, it's just, man, you know who I hate the most when a new Smash Bros. Character is announced now? Everybody. SNES games were finally added to your Nintendo Switch Online subscription for no extra fee, as a few NES games were added every month prior to September, and with the handful of SNES games added, I think NSO finally has value. I don't think it's amazing or anything, but you do get access to quite a bit of content. Just on the SNES side alone, there's some real winners here. The NES games are far more hit or miss, but they've added some interesting and obscure ones. Plus, most of the best NES games are already here, so in my opinion, you get what you pay for. However, what I'm paying for is good online multiplayer. Nintendo doesn't give me that and instead gives me NES and SNES games instead. I mean, yeah, I'll take those, but are these supposed to distract me from the piss poor online? Oh, it's an SNES controller! This one oddly doesn't connect to the Switch like the NES controllers did last year. I'm both pleased but also slightly disappointed. That looked so stupid that I liked it. After the Direct happened, Nintendo posted a mysterious video showing people playing with a ring and leg strap. Later on, it turned out to be a fitness-based adventure game, Ring Fit Adventure, and also this month, Brain Age got announced. Hell yes, the casuals will have their day. September was absolutely packed, and Nintendo released a new system that I completely forgot about. The Nintendo Switch Lite finally released on September 20th, alongside Link's Awakening and Ni no Kuni, an Untitled Goose Game. It was $200 and is definitely worth it, but you might as well save up an extra $100 for the regular model. Here's the thing, I totally understand why this exists. Some people just want to buy a cheap Nintendo console they don't have to leave plugged into their TV just to play Pokemon or Mario or Zelda. I get it. And the Switch Lite is the perfect system for that. It's super light and compact, and you can play pretty much all Switch games you'd want to play on it. However, with some of them, you're gonna need extra controllers, as the non-detachable controllers on the system won't work for local multiplayer games focused on motion control. So stuff like Super Mario
Party or 1-2 switch. Yeah, those work,
but they're a bit clunky on the light. Want to switch? A bit clunky? Yeah, fucking nuts. It's crazy to me that Nintendo didn't design the system to be more accepting of those types of games. There's no kickstand, which means you have to prop it up against something for these things. It also really bugs me Nintendo took out the ability to output to a TV. I wouldn't have minded if they sold a dock separately to connect to, but this thing just will not work like that. It is handheld only, and if you want that functionality, well, do I have a Switch for you? It's really unfortunate because this is a far better feeling system. The buttons feel amazing, soft and comfortable, yet insanely responsive. I hate the clicky buttons of the regular Joy-Con, and these are way more my speed. Having a traditional D-pad is really nice, and the smaller screen makes games look a bit sharper, and the smaller size kind of reignites that wow feeling of playing these big budget console games on the go. Let's be honest, it's been 3 years, I've officially gotten used to seeing home console games play on a portable. The Switch Lite brings back some of that magic. Plus, I just think this is a nicer looking system overall. If this had the ability to play on the TV, this would be my go-to Switch. But the lack of that alongside some games that are annoying to play on here and no rumble make this system more of a novelty I wasted money on rather than a core system I'll play a lot, unfortunately. It has slightly better battery life than the original Switch, which made it seem like a cool extra system to pick up originally, but then Nintendo updated the regular Switch and it has supremely better battery life than the Lite, so I'm running out of pros for this machine. I know some people like using this as their handheld Switch. They just leave the regular one in the dock, and whenever they want to play their games, they transfer their save data over to the Lite and then transfer back when they want to play on the TV. See, I don't do that because a more elegant solution, in my opinion, is to just take the Switch out of the dock. October was definitely a bit lighter than September, but still had quite a bit of content, and the headliner this month was none other than Luigi's Mansion 3 releasing on Halloween, October 31st. I love that release date, but I hate it too. Yeah, it's perfect this game ended up releasing on Halloween, but you only had one day to play until Halloween season was over. I wish it came out a week prior, but I feel like they must have been working on this game up till the last minute. They kept saying Luigi's Mansion 3 is planned to release this fall and it'll release when it's ready. They didn't specify October for the longest time. I feel like if it could have, they would have released it a week earlier potentially, but hey, the game came out on time and it's really quite good. I actually fully beat the original Luigi's Mansion for the first time around 3's release, and comparing and contrasting these two is really interesting. I feel like 1 is thematically better, like you remember every single room in this mansion, where everything is, the atmosphere, the little details. But the gameplay is pretty unremarkable. Just go room to room sucking up ghosts. Luigi's Mansion 3's style isn't nearly as great in my opinion. The art style is a bit too cartoony, which I know is a weird complaint, but Luigi's Mansion 1 had this faint sense of dread to it. Like, this felt like an actual haunted house. While it was still cartoony, it still felt legitimately haunted. I don't really care for the exaggerated and pointy look to a lot of 3's environments or characters. The Dark Moon had this art style too, and it was a bit weird to me that they didn't redesign the Mario cast to slightly fit better in this style. All the other characters in the game look like they belong, and 1 felt like it fully took place in the standard Mario universe. The hotel having different random themes on each floor makes things more varied, but makes it feel like less of an actual building like the original, and more like each floor is just another world in a regular Mario game or something. It's not bad, but I do like how the original setting felt more connected, like this was an actual mansion. However, the gameplay here feels to me like they really validated Luigi's Mansion being its own series. With how 3 is designed and how you use Luigi's poltergeist to interact with the environment and solve puzzles, there's really nothing else like this series. Focusing more so on clever puzzle solving really worked out in its favor. I haven't played much of Dark Moon, and while a lot of 3's elements started there, everything feels perfected in 3. It is visually gorgeous and a ton of fun to play. Like I said, I do like 1's style and atmosphere more, but 3 is definitely the better overall package. But that wasn't it for October, as Ring Fit Adventure came out earlier in the month, coming bundled with some new accessories for the Switch, the Ring Con and Joy-Con leg strap. Just connect one Joy-Con to this and slide one Joy-Con into that, and we have no more excuses. If Nintendo tells us to exercise, we better do it. Ring Fit Adventure is a fitness-based adventure RPG. You run through a level by running in place and use the Ring Con by moving it around, squeezing it, and pulling it out to perform actions. When you run into an enemy, you have to do various exercises to fight off against them. This game is no joke and is a legitimate exercise. I love how it incentivizes you to play more by contextualizing exercise as a grand quest. Listen, I dig me some Wii Fit, but what I kept coming back to were the balance games, and those were just kinda quick, fun uses of the Wii balance board. They weren't really great workouts. Ring Fit does a better job incentivizing you to keep playing by taking some of the fun in the non-exercise games in Wii Fit and turning them into actual exercises. It gives you more of a reason to legitimately exercise because everybody knows the worst part of Wii Fit was the actual exercising. Who wants to do yoga when you can ski? The problem with Ring Fit is it's still exercise, so if you stop playing for a bit, it is really hard to feel motivated to play again. But I really liked what I played, and I hope to consistently get back into it soon. Now, Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD came out this month, and my god, it's Banana Blitz. Like I said, this was always a weird one to remake, as it's far from the best entry in the series. It's fine, but this was where the series started to stumble. They took out the motion controls, and now it's just controlled by the analog stick, which is a blessing and a curse. I do prefer Monkey Ball being controlled this way, but Banana Blitz was designed with motion controls in mind, and thus the stages are pretty simplistic. That makes the game way easier and a bit more boring. I assume they picked this game to be remade because it didn't need a ton of work done to it to look good nowadays. The art style still looks really good today. On the other hand, the GameCube games, while they don't look bad, do use those classic early 2000s character models and would probably need a bit more done to them for a re-release. Also, I hate how Sega's basically saying, if you want more Monkey Ball, buy Banana Blitz HD. These companies have to stop putting out games we don't want to then say, buy this to get what you actually want. It's such a bad practice. Like, don't be surprised if your game doesn't sell well. It's not because people don't want a new entry, it's because you re-released an entry not many wanted. However, I think Banana Blitz HD is a fine enough Monkey Ball game. It does scratch the itch I had for one. It's just unfortunate because I know they could have remade one or two instead. Speaking of remakes and re-releases, Disney classic games Aladdin and Lion King was a cool one, a compilation of many of the different versions of these games. There's a lot of neat features they included, and I like that licensed retro titles are able to be re-released like this. Resident Evil 5 and 6, alright, well these are once again overpriced at $30 each, but Capcom at least made things better by adding motion controls. Still not to Resident Evil 4, what is wrong with this company? The motion controls actually work really well, they're capable of doing it, but why would they add it to these and not 4? 5 is pretty good, albeit not as good as 4, and 6 took the series into a brave new direction called Bad Resident Evil Game. But if you want a quality action game and not a quality Resident Evil game, 6 isn't half bad if you grab it on sale. Overwatch released, but it was during the Great Blizzard controversy of 2019, and it barely got any coverage and I didn't feel like buying it. See, you should have released it back in 2017 when people were actually asking for this game to be on Switch. The Witcher 3 came out all on one game card, which is insane. Many of these bigger ports to Switch require extra downloads or are digital only, but they cram the entirety of this game on a single cartridge, and playing this game on a TV, oh my god. It's a blurry nightmare. Textures constantly pop in, it's more than playable, but not a great looker. Playing in handheld, you can truly appreciate how insanely cool it is they were able to make this game work on the platform. This is The Witcher 3 in its entirety on the go. That is unbelievable. And Time came over, which is weird because it was never supposed to. But this is such an enjoyable little 3D platformer. It's a shame the Switch version doesn't run better though. These cute little title cards that appear before each act are so pixelated for some reason. And the game itself runs alright, but has fairly long load times and looks really blurry. Again, it works. It's just unfortunate this version isn't the best I think it could be. Little Town Hero actually released, developed by the Pokemon developer Game Freak, originally just titled Town when it was revealed back in September of 2018. I was always a bit interested in this game just because I thought the style looked really nice. Looking forward to Little Town Hero HD, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. I wasn't super into the original Yooka-Laylee, it felt like the scope was too big for their team and budget. Impossible Lair changes things up and is a straight up 2D platformer in the vein of Donkey Kong Country. This game is so damn similar to Tropical Freeze, but that is not a bad thing. Tropical Freeze gets better every time you play it. When I first initially played it back in 2014, I thought it was good. Now, after recently replaying it for the third time, I'd consider it to be one of the greatest 2D platformers of all time. This game is another really good one. I wouldn't say it tops Tropical Freeze, but if you like that game, for the love of God, give this one a shot. Ghostbusters, the video game remastered and Killer Queen Black came out, and while I did pick them up and intend on giving them a go, I unfortunately haven't yet. October was a pretty packed month with releases, but not much happened news-wise. Mario Maker 2 finally gave you the ability to play with friends online over 3 months after it released.
Give me a P, give me an aesthetic, that was pathetic.
But at least online multiplayer with friends works fairly well, it just took a ridiculous amount of time to happen. And to round things out, Doom Eternal got delayed to March 20th, with the Switch version being delayed even further to an unspecified date. You know, that's fine, but they were planning to release Doom 64 alongside Doom Eternal in November and push that to March as well. Come on, why? I get it's a pre-order bonus, but it can stay that way. You just get it for free when you get Eternal. Why couldn't you just release that in November? What else am I supposed to play in November, son of a bitch? What do you want me to say? I gave Pokemon Shield a try and it just did nothing for me. I assume that it's because I never grew up with Pokemon, and when you don't have a childhood connection to Pokemon, it is a lot harder to start getting into it in your early 20s. Just nothing was doing it for me. The story was completely nothing. The battles weren't interesting to me. I was just incredibly bored. But People like this game, so I'm not gonna say it's bad or anything. I'll just stamp this one with not for me. It's a good thing I bought both versions. When Pokemon bores me to tears, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 comes around to save the day. It's just alright. Mario and Sonic titles boiled down to just being simple sports minigame collections with some zany flair thrown into a couple of them, and this one is no exception. This is definitely better than the series offerings on Wii U, but that's not saying much. My problems with the sports minigames is that they're longer than something like a Mario Party minigame, but they're not long enough to have a whole lot of substance to them, so at the end of the day, I'm usually left a bit unsatisfied with these games. But I mean, what's here is quality enough. They have these retro minigames which are cute, but to me feel like a way to pad out the game with simpler, cost-effective content. I mean, instead of more dream events where they do crazy Mario and Sonic themed stuff, they focus more so on the retro events. But overall, if this kind of game sounds like it appeals to you, it probably does. Layton's Mystery Journey, an enhanced version of the 3DS title released. I really need to pick this up. I love me a good Professor Layton game, and this seems to be exactly that. New Super Lucky's Tale was a quality 3D platformer. It originally released on the Xbox One as an exclusive, but now we have this version on Switch. I personally have no clue exactly how much newer it is. I know they changed up quite a bit, but this is still a pretty solid time. Nothing mind-blowing, but worth it if this genre's your thing. Smash Bros. Ultimate was updated, formally releasing Terry to the world. A Nintendo surprise released an eShop multiplayer game, The Stretchers, and I'd be lying if I said I knew anything about this game. And Overwatch 2 was announced, and I'd be lying if I said I knew anything about this game. November was surprisingly light, but hey, Black Friday happened, so good for consumerism. I picked up quite a few titles I just didn't get around to buying earlier in the year, and Nintendo was offering a Switch bundled with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as their big deal this year. It was still $300, and it also wasn't the new Switch with the better battery life, it was the old Switch. Who bought this? Oddly enough, at this point, I'm pretty happy that barely much happened after November. Remember that time when I wouldn't shut up about September 2019 for the Switch? Yeah, that was hell. Here's Assassin's Creed Rebel Collection. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag actually released on Switch, which was nice, and it ran a whole hell of a lot better than 3 ever did. It came with Assassin's Creed Rogue, thus they had to give it a stupid dumb collection name instead of just calling it Assassin's Creed 4. Come on, these look stupid next to each other now. Sadly, Rogue wasn't on the game card, which is pretty lame. You had to download it. And equally as lame, Call of Juarez Gunslinger released but digital only. They were confident enough to release it at retail, but with just a download code inside. I really want to know if anybody actually buys these download code only cases. Like, what's the point? Brain Age Nintendo Switch training launched in Japan this month, with Europe getting it on January 3rd. And yup, it was Brain Age. But many reviewers noted how it felt a little unevolved from the DS iterations, and because of that, it felt a little out of place on the system. Like, just the fact that it came with a bonus stylus to use, it just makes the game on Switch not feel as organic as it did on DS or 3DS. This is a series they should have released on smartphones. It feels a little out of place here, but for what it is, it's pretty good. No North American release so far, sadly, which blows. I want to play this, but I just might have to import it. Mario Maker 2 actually got an update with new items and a power-up that turns you into Link with his own full moveset. Listen, really cool, but they put this out way too late. Like, come on, nearly half a year after the game came out, we got our first substantial content update. The original Mario Maker got stuff out way quicker than that, and by this time, many have moved on from Mario Maker 2. Well, at least there was another Indie World presentation, nothing massive revealed except for Axiom Verge 2 and the sequel to Golf Story. Also, the Game Awards happened. After following up last year's reveals of Joker and Smash and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Nintendo revealed Square Enix's Bravely Default 2, and that's it. Thank God December was light, and thank God the next few months have been some of the driest in Nintendo Switch history. Remember the Switch? Well, Nintendo barely did for the first few months of 2020. Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore released. I'm happy that happened. The game is good and deserved more of a chance than what it got on Wii U. It just doesn't appeal to me, so I skipped out on this one. I bought it on Wii U, damn it, I did my part. Other than that, nothing much of note to me released, but we did get some updates. The 5th and final DLC character in the Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighters Pass was revealed. In a lineup of third-party characters, most of which nobody would have ever expected to be in Smash Bros., the final character in this pack was some sap from Fire Emblem. The playable character from Fire Emblem Three Houses, Byleth, was the character, revealed via a live stream hosted by Sakurai, so I actually had a thought cross my mind right before the stream happened. I mean, everybody was going crazy speculating, but I thought while I was pretty sure it would be another third-party character, this was a live stream dedicated to a specific Smash Bros. Announcement. And what characters get announced a lot during Smash Bros. Dedicated live streams? Fire Emblem characters. I mean, I don't care. There are characters I want in the game, but the roster is so huge at this point, they can add whoever they want in my opinion. Also, side note, this is just a random thought I've had lately. As much as new characters getting announced for Smash Bros. Is such a big event in gaming that I love, I almost would prefer if they focused on adding stuff via DLC that Ultimate's lacking in, like more single player modes. Mainly because the one thing the game is for sure not lacking in is the character roster. Anyways, yeah, sure, go ahead, add this character, but I sure do not care. I mean, the fact that this is the 8th Fire Emblem character is one thing, but they couldn't have picked a more uniquely designed Three Houses character. Byleth just looks like a slightly tweaked Martha and Lucina to me. Now, the character itself plays differently enough. I don't personally like playing as them, but I can at least appreciate how different they play compared to the rest of the Fire Emblem cast. But still, this wasn't my first pick for a Smash Bros. Character. This wasn't my pick in general, but oh well. Many people were pretty upset. You have the people who whined nonstop about it, and then the people who were annoyingly rubbing it in others' faces that they wanted Byleth. Both needed to calm down. But of course, with me being critical, I will definitely be associated with the whiners, so might as well let this one out. I keep seeing people say how Three Houses is huge now, so Nintendo's capitalizing on its success with a Three Houses character in Smash Bros. Listen, over 2 million copies, that ain't small. That's great to see for a series like this. But I wouldn't consider that huge. Like, Splatoon 2 is the second entry in a 5-year-old franchise, and it sold nearly 10 million copies. Why haven't we gotten another Splatoon character as DLC? Kirby Star Allies sold over 2 million copies, god. I don't know, I don't mind this character, but they definitely did not excite me at all, and a lot of the reasonings people gave for why they were included, A Pokemon Direct was held, announcing a remake of the first Mystery Dungeon game, with a demo releasing right then and there. After that Byleth talk, I am scared shitless to say my opinion on this. I didn't like it, but the art style was cute. For the love of God, move on. Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC was announced. I mean, it looks decent enough. It's effectively replacing that third version we'd get with titles, which I think is a good step in the right direction. It's just a little iffy considering one of the complaints many had with Sword and Shield was a lack of content, and to see this getting announced so quickly after release, I don't know, man. Thank God we're here! And thank God Nintendo forgot February existed, so not much happened this month either. We got some game releases like Mega Man Zero ZX Legacy Collection, Devil May Cry 3, which actually had some additions to it unlike the first two games, but I bought Sega Ages Sonic 2. I could already play Sonic 2 via the Sega Genesis Classics Collection for Switch, but I'm an idiot. You saw I spent a good chunk of my life whining about DLC for Smash Brothers. I had to pick this one up. This is actually a pretty solid version of Sonic 2. It has Knuckles playable and the emulation is great, but my God, Sega, why don't you just release the mobile phone version on consoles? It's the best version. Also, why doesn't Sega re-release more stuff in general on Switch? Like, they are, but it's the non-essentials. Like, they ported Sonic and Sonic 2 when the Switch already had these games in this giant collection. We got Sega Ages Puyo Puyo 2 when there's already an abundance of Puyo Puyo on the system. Start releasing Sega Saturn or Dreamcast games, or even Xbox 360 stuff. I would kill for Sonic Generations. Speaking of re-releases, Platinum Games launched a Kickstarter to bring Wonderful 101 to Switch, PC, and PS4. I liked Wonderful 101 on Wii U, it definitely deserves a second chance, but this entire Kickstarter kind of gave me weird vibes. Nintendo offered to publish Wonderful 101 themselves, but wouldn't allow Platinum to release it on PC or PS4. Which makes sense. But no, they went to Kickstarter when they didn't need to, and Nintendo was willing to fund the port. And all of these ports seem to be pretty much done considering they're releasing in May 2020. To me, this Kickstarter seemed completely unnecessary. But hey, I guess it's pretty much a form of pre-ordering, and it got them some pretty decent publicity, so whatever. Finally, Nintendo held an Animal Crossing Direct covering New Horizons, and yep, it looks really good. But other than that, there wasn't much happening in the first few months of the year. Normally this wouldn't be much of a problem, but nothing much at all happened in the gaming industry as a whole, and Nintendo's 2020 lineup is completely up in the air right now. Other than Animal Crossing, Mystery Dungeon, Xenoblade, and Bravely Default, what's there to look forward to? So that was the Switch's third year on the market. I really enjoyed taking a look back at the year because it reminded me that Yoshi's Crafted World came out. Overall, it was pretty good. Definitely a lot more original first-party titles than in 2018. That year was a little too port-heavy for my tastes, although I would like to see more original titles overall on the system. When one of the most noteworthy titles in February is a PS2 game from 2005, I don't know. That's not to say Devil May Cry 3 isn't a good game, but it's an old game. It's just not exciting to me. I love that the Switch gets these legacy titles, but it feels like that's all it gets most of the time. Now, while 2018 was definitely worse off for titles, I still felt more of a passion for their releases. I had a lot to say about Tropical Freeze or Captain Toad on Switch, and while 2019 was undoubtedly better, I didn't feel that as much. And if I had to guess why, it's probably because we are legitimately very far into the system's life. I'm just not as excited about the system anymore. It's not that I don't like the system, far from it. It's just that it's not the shiny new gadget it used to be. And most of my problems with the Switch have been constant throughout its life. My biggest problem
is that it has barely addressed any of my problems throughout the years. The operating system has barely changed, I'm not getting as many original experiences as I would want to from Nintendo, and Mario and Sonic 2020 has one of the worst box arts I've ever seen in my life. It looks unfinished. I have no idea what to expect for 2020, considering the fact that we are 3 months in and barely know anything about Nintendo's plans or lineup. I already know that I'm going to get a lot of people saying that I'm being too negative, and, well, I did whine a lot. I like the Switch, I'm just more prone to point out the things that bugged me about it. I'm also not really one to freak out and adore every single thing Nintendo does, but I'm willing to give it a try. What the f***, Box Boy? What the f***, the stretchers? What the f***, the Switch still exists?